Hi, beauties. Welcome back to Beauty Defines podcast. Today's topic is how to treat a quality man during quarantine. And I hope you had the opportunity to listen to my previous podcast, which was about how to identify quality men. And so I hope you had the chance to listen to that. Let's move on. I have 3 disclaimers. You must first treat yourself well as a woman before you offer a man great treatment, okay? Because I'm a firm believer that we should not pour from empty cups. I also believe that the tips I'm going to offer is vice versa. So this means that your high quality man has likely given you reason to implement these tips in your relationship. In other words, make sure you are being treated well. This podcast is not likely to save your relationship or marriage. And if it does, please email me or leave me a voice message on the exciting news because I would be so happy to hear that. So I'm going to cover various subtopics. I'm not a relationship expert, but I am a lawyer, and I did not share that with you all in my previous podcast. And lately, I've been reading the areas of law that are currently booming in the midst of the pandemic. Can you guess which areas of law? Now, I won't list every practice area that's booming right now, but divorce is definitely one of them. And I couldn't help but wonder, why is that? And it didn't take me long to brainstorm the reality. So you see, prior to quarantine, many couples did not face their issues, and now they're forced to face each other. Instead, they would run from their problems by cheating. Infidelity is a big thing in a lot of marriages, working long hours, spending time with their children, engaging in hobbies, etc. And it's interesting because you cannot run from the mirror forever. There's nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. Your partner is a mirror image of yourself. So beauties, I pray and I hope that you have a high quality man and that you are not with a toxic or abusive one. And if you are, you need to leave or contact authorities. Domestic violence is also increasing during this time, and also child abuse. And so your safety should be your number one priority. So please remember, this podcast is about high quality good men, not low quality ones, okay? So let's continue. If your partner is the sole provider, now I know that this may be even more challenging for a sole provider. This is a challenging time for men that are sole providers, unless they are their own boss, or obviously they make a certain amount of money, or they have a certain amount of money in their emergency funds. This is especially a hard time because many people are getting laid off and losing their jobs, and even worse, losing their lives. So here are some tips, especially for the man that's the sole provider, or just for a really good man. You know your man more than anyone else, so let's get started. Spend quality time with him during this time. So if you have children, you should obviously spend time with your kids as well, have family time. However, setting date nights is a great way to bring some positive vibes into your relationship. I know you are expecting me to say cook a good meal for him. Do that too, I guess. But I truly think that this is a time to strengthen the inner qualities of your high quality man, so that when he physically returns to his career, he could be amped up to take on the world. Okay? So that's something that I think that will be easy. Physical things are easy, but I think the inner qualities, that's probably going to be the challenging aspect of this entire thing. So spending quality time. Use this time to also study his love language or add to it. According to Gary Chapman, there are 5 love languages. I'm sure many of you all have heard of the 5 love languages. There's also a book on it. And here are the 5. Words of affirmation, number 1. So let me give you an example. You could tell him, I love that you work so hard, sweetie, or we will get through this pandemic together. That's words of affirmation. Number 2, quality time. Example, you can set an hour where you talk to him about anything. You can talk to him and you can talk about difficult topics and have difficult conversations as well. Give him your undivided attention. I obviously hope that this does not lead to an argument, but I do think that spending quality time and talking to each other and giving each other, that undivided attention is so important, especially in this age of social media. Like, put your phones down and just talk to each other. Number 3, receiving gifts. Here's an example. You can get him a box of chocolates when you get back from the grocery store, or his favorite snack. And you could just draw a heart on a sticky note and put the sticky note on the box of chocolates or whatever snack he likes, because that's a great way to just be sweet. Acts of service is number 4. An example, cook a nice meal or set an at-home, let's say, a foot spa for the two of you. I think a foot spa is important because I'm not trying to be biased, but a lot of men don't take care of their feet. And this is the time, ladies, to just have an at-home foot spa. Go on YouTube, figure it out. Trust me, it's very simple and straightforward. Make sure he's taking care of his feet and his hands. Okay, make sure you're cleaning those nails, because I don't think most men care about that stuff, but you can use this time to do that. So that's acts of service. Number 5, physical touch. Example, holding hands, running your fingers through his hair, etc. Beauties, you can use this time to be super affectionate. And beauties, do you know your love language? If so, leave me a voice message, or you can also email me. You should know your love language before you cater to anyone else's. We all have a love language, either 1 out of the 5 or several out of the 5, but you have to know what makes you feel loved as a woman. So I want you to put yourself first. That's always going to be the common theme in my podcast, is going to be to put yourself first. And although Beauty Defined is also for, men as well, I do have men viewers and listeners, which I truly appreciate, but I want women to really understand that you have to put yourself first. And after you realize your love language, beauties, make sure that your partner is catering to you as well. And you cater to his love language as well. So even if you have to set an alarm to remind yourself to do something nice for him, do that. Because I know some of us have families, we have kids, we have, maybe loved ones that are sick. Put an alarm in your phone to do something nice. Because many of us are working from home as well. So I completely understand we're really busy, but set an alarm every Sunday, for example, or every Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. This is the time to cater. So this can also add to your relationship. If your high quality man works hard, tell him that you appreciate him. For example, if he's in another room in the house, send him a sweet text message saying, I love you, or I miss you, even though you're only a few feet away. Beauties, use the GIFs, is that how you pronounce it? The GIFs, to your advantage. Or send him a voice message and tell him the things you like about him. Like, I like that you work so hard, and I'm so proud of you for handling things the way you do, especially during this time. Okay, most men love words of affirmation. I've never met a man that does not love words of affirmation. He doesn't even have to be your man. You could see a random guy at work and say something to him. You could see a guy at the grocery store and say something nice. Men love words of affirmation. I'm convinced that every man on this planet has that one love language, which is affirmation. They want to feel like they're the best at everything. So use your feminine tone and energy to tell him how amazing he is and how you're so appreciative of him being a provider. Trust me, that's going to get you brownie points. Also, use this time to create a peaceful atmosphere in your home. Light candles, set the mood. Beauties, there is an energy of peace that could fill your home. And I hope that you can set this peaceful vibe and your high quality man doesn't disturb it, because you know how men are sometimes. They like to disturb the peace and then complain about it, but I really hope that he doesn't disturb it. Play some relaxing music, meditate, pray. Peace truly begins at home. With all of the issues we experience in our world and our careers, I just cannot imagine having to come home to more chaos. And reality is, this is probably going to be the longest time you and your partner are ever going to have together at home. So truth is, this is a time to set the peace in the household, because the world is in so much chaos right now. And this is a devastating time. And to also have a home where there's a lot of chaos as well, that's going to take a lot of energy out of you, beauties. Another thing, you can have a spa night at home and also, give them massages. This one may sound weird, but you can also use time to just be quiet and stare at each other. I know it sounds so silly, but the eyes are truly the window to the soul. And if you cannot stare into each other's eyes, that's a problem. This moment can create peace and tranquility and also laughter, of course. Another tip is to rest and sleep together. Do the cuddly stuff that couples do. Some couples are having a hard time, they don't even sleep together. So, beauties, put on something cute and flirty, spray some body spray, his favorite perfume, and cuddle if you know what I mean. So, if you've been dating and married for many years, do something that will cause you and him to reminisce and communicate. Sure, I can suggest that you watch a movie, but generally speaking, people don't talk during movies. So, for example, you can go through your photo album of when you first started dating. Beauties, even if he says he doesn't want to do it, use your charming feminine energy. Like, I believe we can get men to do anything, even the things that they don't want to do. And you have to have an agenda and stick to it. He doesn't have to know your plan of going down memory lane. Once you get there, I'm sure he will get some laughs out of it. And you could talk about the way things used to be. Then you could introduce the idea of doing activities you did when you first started dating as a couple. So, the key thing to remember is that quarantine is a great time to rekindle and add fuel to your relationship and be romantic as ever and affectionate. So, you have the feminine power and energy to set the mood. Although you're a high quality man, he has to take the lead as well. This quarantine is either going to test your marriage and relationship and give you more reasons to divorce or more reasons to stay unhappily or happily married. So, beauties, I hope you're motivated to continue building healthy relationships with your high quality man. I love interacting with my audience. Please email me at beautydefine139@gmail.com if you have any questions about self-development or suggested topics. As always, you are fearfully and wonderfully made.